Cyberpunk 2077 is a game that brings up a lot of opinions and emotions from the gaming community just by mentioning its name. I can safely say that it's the most polarizing game that's come out in recent years, and by now we all know the story of Cyberpunk's launch. So today, we're just going to focus on the game's current state in the year 2022. Is it still a mess, or has it finally lived up to the masterpiece that we all expected?
Out of my mind, delirious. You should hop in the void if you're curious. I maneuver the floor of my energy willingly. Wizard of Zoo, the furious fool, releasing my demons and killing their moves. Just cause it was written don't mean that it's true. Disrupting my method, they want me to lose. Don't feel no pressure, been staying in tune. Ready when...
Let me start by saying I love CD Projekt Red. I love them. As a developer, they might be one of my favorites. They were behind my favorite game of all time, The Witcher 3. So I had no reason to be skeptical when the game was coming out, which made it hurt that much more when the game was almost unplayable. But it makes me so much happier to say that in 2022, Cyberpunk is one of my favorite games of all time. It may not be the greatest game ever made, or even the best in the RPG genre, but it's still a masterpiece. A world that anyone can get enveloped in and feel like they're truly living in Night City. There's plenty of side content throughout the game's large map to keep you busy and plenty of places for you to explore. Honestly, I think I've stopped and just taken in my surroundings more than I have in any other game. Night City is beautiful, and I have no doubt in my mind that you'll be in awe while seeing the sights it has to offer. The biggest reason to play the game, in my opinion, are the stories that you experience throughout. Even the side missions have engaging, branching storylines for you to follow. I found myself getting completely invested in these stories, to the point where I would get emotional from some of them. The best part is that whatever side quest you do have a real impact on the main storyline. Speaking of the main story, it's just as good and keeps you waiting to see what happens next. So when you combine these things of having quality storytelling with a branching storyline that side missions and main missions affect each other, it's a pretty good outcome. So very similar to The Witcher 3, the game's strongest asset is the stories you experience throughout. Gameplay wise, the game is actually really fun. With the updates the devs have made to things like combat and driving, you should enjoy every aspect of gameplay. Both these things were a little meh at launch, if I'm being honest, but now, they're both pretty polished and fun to play. Enemies can be a bit bullet spongy, but it's an RPG, and you have to expect that in any RPG. Once you level up, you can beat those guys. Once you fill out the skill tree, you turn into an unstoppable badass in no time. And there's plenty of combat encounters to sink your teeth into to help you fill out that skill tree. As you're going through the world, you'll come across so many different little things you can stop and do. Some of them aren't as engaging as others, but if you're looking to dive more and more into the combat that this game has to offer, there's plenty of opportunities to do it. Honestly, I can't recommend that you play Cyberpunk enough. For real, it's that good. It's a game you have to experience for yourself. Whether you never tried it, or you tried it on launch and gave up because the game was in a state that was damn near unplayable. It's in a much better state now and really is one of the best games to come out in recent years. That being said, there is one thing. You have to have the right hardware to play it. If you're playing this game on a last-gen console, it's just not the way to go. The game was never meant to be a last-gen game. I'm a firm believer that Cyberpunk should have come out on current-gen consoles, at the time next-gen consoles, and CD Projekt Red had promised that it was going to be on last gen, so they wanted to make it happen. I think if they didn't push for it to be on last gen consoles, the game would have never had problems come launch. They would have had more time to work on it. They could have waited till those consoles came out. It could have all went together much smoother, but that's the past. This is where we're at now. If you have that hardware where you're able to play the game, do it, please. If you have an Xbox Series console, a PS5, or a solid PC, you need to play this game. No matter what you've heard about Cyberpunk since its launch, I promise you, you need to play this game. It's great. It's amazing. I am not just saying that because I'm a CD Projekt Red fan. It's because the game is actually really enjoyable. I'm in the middle of my second playthrough right now because it just recently got a Series X upgrade. And I love every second of it, even replaying the missions I've already played or going out and finding new stuff I haven't found yet. The game is great. It's a great use of your time, and it's a great experience. I know I'm saying great a lot, but that's the only way I can put it. So please, if you haven't already, go out and check out Cyberpunk. I think you'll enjoy yourself.
Now, it's also fourth down.
Back to throw. This will be caught at about the 5. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Buccaneers.